you debrief with the game too much from the weekend, or what's your take on what went wrong?
No, we had a bit of a look at it yesterday afternoon and saw some vision that wasn't that positive for the way we played, which was fair enough as well. Just looked at some errors basically where we didn't show up with the right attitude and intensity, and against a good side like Gold Coast you can get found out pretty quick. So credit to them, they came prepared and ready to bounce back from their performance the week before and taught us a lesson basically. So it was good to see some of that and look forward to moving on now and training well over the next few days, and then a massive task against the Pies at the G. So it was good to see some of that stuff. Sometimes you can brush over it and try and forget about it and move on, but I think at this time of year to have a performance like that wasn't acceptable, so had to face the music in a way and look at some of that stuff and learn from it and get better.
Something like that happened last year against GWS, and it sort of changed the course of the season. Can this be viewed as a positive or maybe a turning point?
I think so. I think you learn more from your losses than your wins, and when you win a few in a row, sometimes you can get a little bit comfortable and happy with how you're going, and some things that might slip through the cracks get shown when you lose. So I think it can definitely be a positive if we take it the right way and learn from it, and there's not long to go in the season, so we can't really afford another one of those performances.
It's rare that your midfield gets beaten like it did on Saturday. Was that hard to watch in the review, some of the things around the middle of the ground?
Certainly hard to watch, more so embarrassing clips that is not usual for us as a midfield group and in front of the group. And obviously on Saturday you can sort of tell out there that there's going to be some stuff shown in the review or that our supporters and family and friends see that aren't our usual behaviours. So we sort of knew that was coming and reflect on it after the game before the review, and I think far out that was pretty poor, and you want to get back out there as quick as possible. I wish we were playing Thursday night rather than Saturday night, just to get back out there and try and make amends. So I think for us it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, and as a midfield group certainly lowered our colours across all four quarters. So it's not usually the way we go about it, so hopefully it's just an anomaly and we bounce back, and that's something that we take pride in as a club. We've been able to do pretty well over the last 7 years since I've been here. We bounce back pretty well usually, so hopefully we see a response. It doesn't mean that we have to go out and win by 10 goals or anything like that. It's just about the way we play, and on the weekend it wasn't acceptable, so we want to play our brand again this weekend.
You'd almost be glad you're playing Collingwood this week, wouldn't you? Like no sterner test and home of footy, all the rest of it. Like it's a great sharpener straight away.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a great time for us to play them and test ourselves against the best, and feel like if we can bounce back and play our best footy, it's going to be a great game, a cracking contest. So we look forward to hopefully producing some really good footy, and we know that Collingwood will bring that as well. So it should be a fantastic game for both sets of fans, and for both clubs I think it'll be a really good game.
Okay, when you talk about the effort areas just before, when you're saying you're lacking in effort areas, why do you think that was?
Yeah, it's hard to put your finger on it. Perhaps, like I said, we got a bit comfortable after winning a few in a row. Your mindset maybe wasn't prepared to go to sort of footy war in a sense. You're not prepared to roll up your sleeves and do the hard work, which they clearly were. So you've got to look at your preparation and what you did through the week. Everyone has to do that, myself included, and where we might have slipped up there. I thought our training and everything and our meetings were pretty sharp, but obviously something mentally wasn't quite right with the group on the weekend, and it's a sharp reminder that you've got to be prepared. Even if you're 2-3% off in this competition, you're going to get found out against any team, let alone a team as good as Gold Coast. So we learnt the hard way that you've got to come prepared. So everyone will look at their preparation mentally more than physically. I think we do the physical stuff really well, but mentally just getting ready for what's coming.
Look, you just sort of touched on it. Can you take heart from the way you went to Geelong and beat the Cats, and I think beat the Hawks at the MCG, from those sort of efforts going into this week?
Yeah, I think we can take confidence from our away form as a whole this year. We've been quite good other than the weekend, so we can take confidence from the work that we've put in on away trips so far. But it's sort of the same as the weekend, it counts for nothing. Like, we've beaten Gold Coast the last few times, but that didn't count for anything, and we've had a good away record until the weekend. So we still got to get to work, and we know it's a different challenge against the Pies as well. They're absolutely flying at the moment and sitting deservedly top of the ladder, so it's a big challenge. But I feel like we'll respond in the right way.
It's been a little while since you've beaten them. A couple of absolute heartbreakers in there as well. Obviously, like you've been close. But what challenges do they throw that give you guys some headaches?
Yeah, I think all areas for them, but one that stands out is when their pressure game's on. They're really hard to get through, and they make you really earn your points, I suppose, on defence. They're so well structured, but it starts with their pressure game, and then from that they can set up really well behind the ball. So we've got to be strong in that area and get the ball going forward and not turn it over as much as we did, especially by hand on the weekend. There'll be a few areas that we'll go through today, I think, with our Oppo meeting and look at areas that we can try and exploit, and they'll be doing the same to us. I think our ball movement will be key. Our contest is our one wood, so if we don't get that right, we won't win. So that'll be our probably main focus, I think, this week.
Lman was really starting to find some form. Sad to see he wasn't there, obviously, with that calf. How much did you sort of miss him, and how good would it be to get him back in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I actually don't know his timeline, Kai. I think it's another week maybe or something like that. So it was disappointing to lose him at training last week. He was starting to find his feet after a bit of an interrupted year for him so far, and another little setback, but the character of him will shine through, and he'll be back and playing some good footy in the next couple of weeks. He's a great player for us, and he's come on in leaps and bounds over the last few years. So we missed his energy maybe and intensity. I think he's really improved in his forward pressure over the last 12 months, and we probably were lacking that a little bit on the weekend. But that was all over the ground, not just in the front half. So he would have made a difference, but maybe not a 11, 12 goal difference.
Lachie, I guess it's a time of the year when you may be looking at the table. I guess does that add to this game, knowing that if you lose, you might be 6th or 7th because it's so tight?
Not really. I think for us, and it's very cliche, but if you do look at the ladder, you can sort of get in your own head and think, we might win this one and lose that one, or win that one. So you just sort of mix and match, and you just don't know what's going to happen week to week in this competition. So full focus on Collingwood. We knew going into the season really that it was going to be tight. It was the same last year. I think we finished 5th or 6th? It's 5th last year. And we're able to make a run. So we'll try and finish as high as we can. We're not caught up too much in where that is at the moment. We just want to try and win out from here, and it starts with Collingwood on the weekend. So you go into every game trying to come up with a plan to win that week, and we'll just keep doing that. And where we end up, we probably deserve. We've got a nice run home with some teams that are all fighting for the 8. Sydney, I think, they've played some great footy as well in this back half. We got them next week as well. So all teams are going to be present a really good challenge for us. So we'll earn our spot where we finish.
Nick Dacos got off the leash on the weekend and so damaging. Do you let him run, or do you think someone runs with him?
You're going to have to ask Fags. I've got no idea. He's such a talent that I think we've tried both ways before, and trying to run with him or let him run around free and just play our system, and both times he's played pretty well both ways. So I'm not sure what the plan will be there, but hopefully he doesn't have a game like he did on the weekend. We might be in trouble.
Playing at the MCG, how much of an extra boost is that as well?
Yeah, it's awesome. We love getting back to the MCG and playing there. I think over the last few years we've had some really good games there against good teams. So love playing at the MCG, and it'll be a pretty full house, I think, this weekend. So it's exciting to get there with a big crowd, and can't wait.